In this video, I want to go over the mind of Lex Luthor and its effect on his actions. Before I begin, if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe. Lex Luthor is a man that has it all: money, power, influence, and at some point in time, the respect of many. Why? Because LexCorp, similar to Wayne Enterprises, heavily contributes to Metropolis, employing millions, creating and managing a multitude of industries, and he had set up foundations to assist the city, which I cover in more detail in my video on what does LexCorp do. But of the many versions that exist, he usually throws us all away to become a supervillain due to his obsessions. Well, one reason for this is that he was always kind of a bad guy. For example, Alexander Lex Luthor of New Earth had started his company LexCorp by causing the death of his parents via a car accident that he had orchestrated, and then cashed out on the large life insurance policies under their names that he had set up. And even before Superman's debut as a hero, he was already conducting illegal activities by selling guns to gangs in Metropolis and having blackmail files on the heads of organized groups, like mobs, all of which is villainous. The other reason, though, may be an inferiority complex. Now, I am not a psychologist, as such, take what I say with a grain of salt. Now, this may sound odd in terms of him having an inferiority complex when he portrays himself the opposite, having a superiority complex. An inferiority complex is a constant feeling of inadequacy or insecurity in one's daily life due to a belief that one is physically or mentally inferior to others, whereas a superiority complex is an exaggerated sense of self-worth and a belief that they are better than others. According to Adler's theory of individual psychology, as stated by both Healthline.com and Study.com, Adler believed that the two were intertwined, and to overcome a massive inferiority complex, one may overcompensate using aggressive means and create a superiority complex, and both exist simultaneously. Now, I am not familiar in this specific subject matter to know if it happens all the time or at certain occasions, but the description fits Luthor pretty well. Along with this, he's a narcissist, he's also a control freak, extremely greedy, etc. All of which are reasons why he despises Superman to such a level. Because Lex considers himself the savior of Metropolis, seeing others as lesser beings, according to the DC fandom, and portrays himself as a philanthropist despite continuing his criminal activities. Now imagine someone with such a self-inflated ego being met with Superman, who's basically a deity in his very own city, dwarfing Luthor's abilities due to Superman's unique physiology. He's stronger, he's faster, he fucking flies, shoots lasers out of his eyes, and is beloved by the people of Metropolis. An example of this is a scene from All-Star Superman, where Clark Kent interviews Lex in prison. He explains how Superman's existence diminishes us all, referring to the human race, but then makes a separate comparison, stating that even Lex Luthor's greatness is overshadowed. This kind of shows that he puts himself above others, and this really bothers him. In the end of this movie, after seeing the world as Superman, Lex begs him to give back the serum that gave him his powers, because he can fix the world. But Superman rebuttals that if he really cared, he would have done it a long time ago. And this is definitely possible to some degree due to Luthor's immense wealth and intelligence. But what he really craved for is power, going so far as to create Bizarro Superman or convincing the android Amazo to attack the League, as he would rather have someone more powerful under him than not. All of these issues relate to his weakness of arrogance, where he could not figure out Superman's identity for years despite his massive intelligence, as he refused to believe that a powerful being like Superman would stoop so far to act like a fragile human. However, unlike Owlman, who I've already covered before in a previous video, who had stuck to his beliefs to the very end, Lex Luthor is different, as he changes evolves, at least certain versions. Going back to the example of All-Star Superman, in prison once again, Lex tries to remedy his actions by giving the genetic formula to create a Superman clone, as a replacement for Clark, who has perished. In the Justice League animated show, Luthor gives Darkseid the anti-life equation, preventing him from killing Superman and essentially saving the Earth. This action causes him to disappear along with Darkseid as a consequence. Now, while there may be versions where he is faking it to once again gain more power, gain more notoriety, become superior to others, at least these two versions, he shows some self-growth, possibly indicating overcoming some of his insecurities or arrogance. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and hit the join button to support the channel.